Hello. So I'm on my way home actually, but Spirit had a message to deliver, and the messages don't wait on me. So I've got to deliver this message, and I was trying to find a place to go sit. Hold on. Okay, good. It rained, so I was worried that I wouldn't have anywhere to sit, and I can't do that at home because I don't like to be around other people's energy when I have a message to deliver. So I'll just do it right here. But happy Pride. I am just about what? Anyways, I'm distracted. I'm sorry. So anyways, let's just get right into it. Let me What the fuck? Okay. So, I don't know if that was significant. I don't know why I started recording right now. Now that I'm thinking about it, that didn't make sense. All right, y'all. Shit's about to get very real. Vulnerable. Things are about to be vulnerable. You're about to feel vulnerable. I'm about to feel vulnerable. We're all about to feel vulnerable. Things are about to get real. I am so sorry that I just did that. I'm personally grossed out. But I don't know what to tell you. I want to say it was Spirit, but I also have a cough, so could just be me. But anyways, let me just sit down. I'm just trying to... Okay. Oh, God, see? Anyways, the sun is setting. Happy Pride. I, too, am celebrating Pride. I am a part of that community, and I'm very happy to have Pride. So anyways, what is the message? Well, Spirit, I got this message this morning, but I think Spirit gave me the whole day because I was hanging out with my bestie because it was her birthday last week and she graduated university last week, so we were celebrating that today. So I couldn't give this message this morning. I didn't have time, but I'm gonna do it now. So what immediately came to mind is that the physical, I've been talking about the physical a lot recently. The physical is about to become a lot more, the spiritual, oh my God, the spiritual is about to become a lot more physical. So how in the Bible, there's the burning bush and all of these things that feel very fantastical, right? And it was God came to me in a burning bush, or God came to me, and that's literally the only example I know. Oh my God, there's a bunny. I haven't seen bunnies for a while. It is evening time, so sorry. You see how I'm distracted and how I keep confusing my words and doing things that I wasn't meant to do. And a few days ago, I kept noticing that I was putting my braces wires on the wrong teeth. And I was doing it consistently. And I was like, why am I doing this? Do you want to see the bunny? There's a bunny over there. Oh, I would go show you guys, but I don't want to get up. Because if I get up, I'm going to get distracted. I'm going to forget what I wanted to say. But the bunny's over there. Just a little bunny rabbit. So anyways, there's a lot of confusion in the air. Am I right? I was saying that earlier, that July is going to be a lot more clear. And maybe right now we're at the threshold point. I don't know if it's because it's the end of June and we're about to get such a boast of clarity that it's the last few douses of confusion are coming in. But double check everything and just be careful or be watchful. Either way, the spiritual is about to become a lot more physical. So Have you ever seen a light shadow? When I was in the shower, and this has happened to me a few other times, I will see, and I've seen this with timelines. So sometimes I will see shadows, but it's not a darker shadow, it's a lighter shadow. It's a light shadow. So let's say I'm looking down at my feet in the shower. I will also see a version of my feet that is like a shadow, so it's not solid and it's not physical. I'm not seeing a body. I'm seeing like the shadows of feet, but it's in light. And then I'll see it like on this side of me, and I'll see it on this side of me. I'll see it maybe up there. And it's kind of like seeing different dimensions. I think that the spiritual is about to become a lot more physical. It's going to become so entwined that it's hard to separate, to distinguish the two from each other. And you're going to need to take time to figure out what you're looking at. I think illusion and reality are going to be very much so in the gray. It's going to be very, not blurry, because there's going to be a lot of clarity coming in, but if you're not taking the time, you might feel very confused. I also think that in terms of death energy, and I don't know if this has to do with the earth and with climate change, but just in terms of that energy, I also think it's going to become a lot more real. I think that the physical is going to really be taking on the energy of the earth in all of her transformations. I don't know. I've seen a lot of animals just dead. And not like roadkill. Like I'll see them on the sidewalk. Or I'll see them in the grass and they're just gone. Oh my God. And I'm not sure why I'm seeing that a lot, but I have. So it could be death and rebirth energy, which is natural. And when I see them, I don't feel scared. I don't feel a bad energy, but I do feel a death and rebirth energy. And with that comes clarity, and with that also comes, illusion versus reality, and what are the two, and are they just one, and what is whatever. It's almost like a choose your own reality, like I don't know. I just think that we're going to become aware of the spiritual in a way that gives you options. You have options. There are different ways that you can exist in the world. There's a lot more options than you previously were aware of. And that is both a good thing and a bad thing. Okay, bunny rabbits on the move. So right, because we're in this new timeline now, right? And in this new timeline, it is like the unfolding of many timelines. So in our old timeline, we weren't aware. We were aware, but we weren't physically aware that there were many spaces in which we could exist. Oh, now we're in a new timeline. There's been a shift, okay? So we're in a new timeline now where the possibilities feel kind of endless. And that is the thing with illusion. It's very much so the number 8, infinity, which could be considered, infinite possibilities, but also could be considered a cycle, which is one thing going round and round and making you think that it's your whole lifelong journey, but it's really just this endless cycle of something that you need to break out of. The number 8 can be very complex. It can be beautiful and abundant in positivity and abundant in negativity and all the things in between. The rabbit moved, and I thought it was going to move forward. It moved and it went this way. There's many places you could go. There's many ways you could go. There's something about double checking. There's something about taking your time and moving slowly. There's a difference between somebody who let's say They're like, okay, you can go now. And there's a person who runs straight ahead, and there's a person who walks. And so they get to see what's ahead and actually pay attention and see if they actually want to go that way, or they can look to the side and be like, oh, actually I want to go this way, versus a person who just juts right out and runs straight ahead and realizes they don't want to be where they're at. And now either they have to turn around, or now they're stuck in the mud, or now they've run into this situation, or now they're too stubborn to go back. All these different things, right? So I've been saying the last few videos have been about going slowly, being present, and being aware of the fact that you are in a new space. And because you are new to this, you don't know everything. So you are not, like, you are the fool in this area. And you are also the magician. You can manifest your reality, but you're the fool. So be open to learning, be the student. It's very like Eight of Pentacles, and like page energy, and like even like the Six of Swords. Like it's that kind of energy. Even maybe like the Three of Pentacles, if like in terms of like you're building up something for yourself, you're building a strong foundation for yourselves. Like I think of like enterprise and like businesses and things like that. Like one step at a time, okay? But the spiritual is becoming a lot more physical. Your spiritual reality and what you desire is becoming a lot more grounded. This also has to do with manifestation and what you say, right? Because your words have power and your intentions have power. Your intentions are important. Be intentional and be aware of what your intentions are. Don't just go, willy-nilly, setting all of these intentions, casting all these spells, and not knowing what you're doing. There's a level of responsibility that is now required. I think that Spirit is saying for everybody who is an adult and capable of making their own decisions and being responsible for their own actions, there's no more time to fool around and pretend like you weren't aware of of your own power and what's going on in the world, right? We're all very aware. We're all hyper aware. So there really isn't an excuse of like, at the very least, everybody knows that there's a strange feeling in the air, right? So for some people it's positive, for some people it's negative, for some people it's just a strange feeling, for some people it's a new feeling, but everybody feels something, right? If you don't feel anything, then I would say to talk to somebody, because you do want to be present right now. And if you are present, then you know that there's an energy in the air. And I think that Spirit is saying now that like not being self-aware and not following your gut is going to cost you. And it's going to be small damages that add up. It's like, that's what I was talking about with the spiritual insurance. There are hospitals in the United States that like get to just, I think the hospital system or the medical system in the United States, like when it comes to costs and things like that for different things that you have at the hospital, they just get to make up their own costs, right? And like even the smallest things add up. And if you don't have insurance, you will quickly go into debt having to cover all of these things. And I was talking about this spiritual insurance. What coverage do you have? What protection do you have to help you help soften the blow or help you navigate situations that might put you at odds, that might put you in conflict, that will require you that will be a challenge for you. We are all going to be facing challenges. Nobody is getting off, free in this new era. Everybody is going to be dealing with some aspect of change in the world, and they're going to be taking that on in their own life. Everyone is going to deal with some aspect of climate change. Everyone's going to deal with some aspect of this death energy and this rebirth energy, and we're all on the full spectrum, and we're going to feel all sides of the spectrum, right? Some more than others, but we're all going to get a taste of everything, because at the end of the day, we are a collective, and your energy is involved, your energy is engaged, so it's going to engage with everything to a certain extent. there's just something around the spiritual becoming physical and it being very much so in our face. Like I feel like we're going to be getting signs that are very obvious to the point where they're not signs. It's just spirit. It's not like a sign, you know, it's spirit talking to you. It's spirit looking at you. Like spirit is going to be showing up very, very physical, you know, in a way that is undeniable and in a way that furthers this conversation around the fact that it's not just us here on earth and that's it. There's something bigger than that. There's something beyond that. Yeah. And there's as much as there's this conflict energy, there's also this abundance energy and this joy and new beginning energy. It's just an array. Look at the little bunny. That bunny is making me so happy because I've been asking, I was like, where are the bunnies? I haven't seen a bunny in a while. And there they are. It's just one of them. It's just a little bunny rabbit. Yeah, y'all. I don't know. I don't really fully know what is going on. I'll just repeat to you what I feel, which is that you're going to be aware of your options. You're going to be aware of the fact that there are many, many timelines. We're also going to start understanding the shadow self in its spectrum as well. So the light shadow, which is what I was talking about. So like, remember I was saying in that other video, in the Saturn's era video, I was saying that there's a spectrum for everything, including consciousness, including the higher self. And as we ascend, we naturally step into our higher self, and our higher self keeps getting higher. And it's the same for your lower self there's lower, like it's a spectrum, it's a scale, and you know, good and bad is subjective. And there's some things that we all agree on, even if it's still subjective, but that doesn't make it, just because it's subjective doesn't mean it's not valid or important. Like, everything is subjective. In the span of the universe, there really is nothing that's right or wrong. But in terms of us, we have rights and wrongs, right? And we have things that we believe in, and that's valid, even if it's not an objective fact. It doesn't need to be a fact in order for it to be valid. There's things that are, like, it's things like that. Like, we're just gonna start to really push beyond these established understandings and go deeper and challenge things. We're going to be challenging what we peg as reality and the pillars that we have, and we're going to be pushing the boundaries, and we're going to be moving into the gray so that we can move somewhere else as well. Like, we all have to go into the gray so that we can get to another point, right? On the scale. But we have to go into the threshold, we have to go into the tornado, we have to go into the whirlpool, we have to go into the gray, we have to go into the shadow. And shadows have a spectrum as well. There's the dark shadow, there's the light shadow, and there's the gray shadow, and there's all in between. And when I see timelines, it doesn't happen super often, but sometimes when I do see different timelines all existing at once, it's like a light shadow. It's very interesting. It's like the reflection of like sunlight on something, and like what's within that outline, that's what it looks like. So yeah, I guess that's it. I saw a rainbow today, which felt beautiful and felt abundant and felt like love and joy. There's also many ways to see things. So like I said, when you have options, right? I was seeing my feet in the light shadow, and I was seeing different, it was like seeing how closely together all the timelines are and how it's within itself, right? So another timeline is within your timeline, and you can step onto that. It's rare that you're ever existing in one timeline, really. Like, you're really bouncing from different timelines, but it's all within like a certain like genre, right? And then there's the ones where you completely end that book and you're on to another timeline, and it's another book, and but it's all like, timelines are very closely connected. It's not always a huge leap. Sometimes it's just a step. So I was seeing my feet, my solid 3D feet in this world. Then I was seeing like a different, like a light shadow, which was another timeline. And the light shadows are kind of like, it's kind of inconsequential if you go to this timeline or you go to that timeline or you stay in this one. It doesn't really matter. It's just kind of like a matter of preference, whether you want to move or not. Make the decision, and then it's the bigger switches, and you can take your time, and that's okay. But like what I was saying, I was seeing all of these dead animals. Like, I've seen squirrels and pigeons, and I've seen some of them like fully decayed, and some of them like freshly gone, and some that I don't know how old. And I haven't seen them as roadkill. It just kind of seems like natural deaths. That's what it kind of seems like. And so there's many ways to view that, right? You can see that as sad and depressing. And in the beginning, I mentioned that we're going to be, and then when I first saw it, I got kind of nervous because I was like, why am I seeing all this death around? What is this talking about? But now as I talk about it more and I'm giving more time to it and more space to it, I'm also seeing that there are many ways to understand this. This is also just a natural cycle. We're moving through the natural cycle and energy of death, which is complicated and hard and difficult, but it's not always super bad and traumatic. Like, I'm not seeing these animals and being traumatized by it. I'm not having nightmares about it and night terrors and things like that. I'm seeing them and I'm like, oh, and I like send them well wishes, and then I'm like, okay, on to the next, moving on. And that's how it can be. That's how this new period of time can be, because this new timeline is not coming without its struggles. It's not going to be easy, but it's also it doesn't have to be traumatizing. And it's about whether you take your time or you rush into things to the point where you're getting yourself stuck because you're not taking the time to be present and check out what's going on around you and engage with what's going on around you. You're just rushing right through it, which isn't going to work. This is the time to really go slow. Take your time. Be like this rabbit. Take your time getting to where you want to go. Or don't even have a decision on where you want to go and just kind of ponder and think about things. Just be patient with yourself. You have options. You want to choose. When you finally are ready to make the choice, you want to make a choice that feels good for you. And how could you possibly know how you feel in a new space and what you want when you haven't gotten the chance to fully explore it yet? You're the fool. So kind of do your Six of Swords energy, your healing energy. Take your healing with your spiritual insurance and go and explore a little bit, and trust that you can explore, and it doesn't mean that you're going to get hurt, or even if you do get hurt, it doesn't mean that you're going to die, because you've done all of this healing work in order to prepare you for anything that might be kind of difficult that comes your way, for the challenges that come your way. The challenges are never going to stop. They're at every level. But it's about whether you trust in yourself and you give yourself enough space and time to navigate, these different, it's like making me think of like Seven of Wands energy, like the different challenges and being courageous enough to deal with the different things that come up for you, while also being positive still, and still dreaming, and still picking yourself back up again and trying again, and being adventurous and being open. I feel like this rain coming in, because there's this, it feels like unexpected. Whatever these challenges are that are coming in, it feels unexpected, and not in a bad way. It just feels unexpected and not what you think it is, I was worried today that it would rain, and it did rain, but it didn't rain during any of the time that I was hanging out with my friend. It had a few drops, but that was it. And then when it rained, it ended up being fine because I was on the train, so I didn't even get hit with it. And then there was a rainbow afterwards. So you see, like, things that you expect to be a burden or a hassle, and they still end up being something that happened, but it wasn't as bad as you thought, and it actually created something beautiful, and it also cleared out a lot of things in the process. Like, sometimes you want the bad things to happen because it's going to give you clarity, or it's going to clear out a mess, or it's going to bring things to light that you really needed to know about, or you really needed to see. And so as much as you can be sad about that, you can also be grateful, and it's okay if you are grateful for something that's also quote unquote bad. You know, we have complicated feelings about things. We're human, and it's okay for you to feel many things about something that you feel like you should only feel a very strict and certain way about, you know? Like with this, oh, please, sir, I actually don't want you on my blanket, so yeah. Like, there's a lot going on right now. There's the Roe v. Wade and all of that. And I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of disengaged from politics right now, so I'm kind of not paying attention. But, and I'm not happy about it because obviously, like, it's going to lead to very complicated and difficult and dangerous experiences for people who need access to abortions. And it's just like, thanks for undoing a major pillar in history. But let's also look at what this is undoing. This is unraveling people's trust in the criminal system and the court system and our justice systems, which is good because the justice system can't be trusted anyways, right? And we already know that. So here's another confirmation. Here's another revelation. Here's another unearthing. We needed this. We knew it was always going to happen. It was coming. We all saw it in the pipeline. It's here. It's happened. Now what? Now we have options. How do we want to move forward? We have options now. There's an option to create other systems to help people get access to abortions. There's an option to get involved in your politics if you want. There's an option to look at dismantling this system altogether. There's an option to look into the people that voted for this and what they're all about and how did they get into these systems, and do we even trust the justice system, and why is the Supreme Court a thing anyways, and is that a valid thing? And you know, we are the people, we have power. Do we want this to exist? And what is the president doing? And asking a lot of questions that will lead to a lot of unravelings, that will lead to a lot of potential new beginnings. So it's a horrible thing, but it's also a good thing, you know, and it was needed. And as much as it seems like a win for the wrong side, whatever side you're on, I mean, you know, that is your thing. But as much as it seems like a win for something that doesn't feel good for some of us, I also think in the end it's a major win because it is knowledge. It is awareness. We are aware of how people feel and how strongly they feel about something. And I would much rather be in the know than be unaware. Because if you're out of touch, then there's nothing you can do about it because you don't know that it's happening, right? But you know now. So now what do you want to do? Do you want to move? Do you want to get involved? Do you want to completely disengage and not pay attention to this system anymore? I mean, here in Toronto, we had an election and it was only 33% voter turnout, which I think was the lowest in, I think, a few years. Not shocking at all. I didn't know anything about any of the candidates. I mean, it was a mess. But part of that disengagement, you can look at it and be like, this is a problem. Our system is failing. You can also see that the system is becoming irrelevant to people. It's not that people don't care, but people don't care enough to vote no matter what, and like even mark their ballot as, you know, like I choose not to vote. People aren't even showing up, which in some ways, you know, it can be marketed to you as, oh, this is bad because no one's involved, so no one gets to make decisions. But, you know, all these systems really rely on all of us still being invested and trusting and giving it legitimacy at some level. If people aren't even showing up, not following the rules and disengaging completely to the point where you don't acknowledge that it's a legitimate thing isn't far behind. And in many ways, that is scary and dangerous. And in many other ways, that is exciting and full of new possibilities. Okay? We're coming into a time that is very chaotic. We're already in chaotic energy. It's going to get more chaotic. And you're going to need to be brave, and you're going to need to have the ability to hold on to hope, to realize that you're not powerless, and to understand and to have faith in human beings, okay? There are, of course, going to be people who take advantage of a society that is more heavily interested in anarchy, and people who take advantage of that and create situations that are scary and create situations like we see in the sci-fi apocalyptic movies. But there are going to be a lot of people who choose to create community, who choose to band together, who choose to figure out different ways of existing. And I think that is what's going to be triumphant, and I think that is what's going to dominate. But you have to be careful, because what are you engaging with, and what energy is that giving you? Because of course, if you're going to be engaging with the media and the news, certain news sites, and it's not all news, because there's fantastic journalists, there's fantastic news platforms, but choose what makes you feel good, what feels good to your soul, what doesn't make you frightened, what gives you knowledge, gives you awareness, but doesn't terrify you into not wanting to be alive or not wanting to go outside, So yeah, we're coming into interesting times, spiritual becoming more and more physical in all aspects, and we're going to be experiencing the full spectrum. But have faith in yourself and the work that's already been done, and trust that people are not as barbaric as we're made out to be by other people, funnily enough. But who is invested in that narrative of human beings? Who does that narrative benefit? Because the narrative that human beings are just violent, moralless creatures who don't care about each other and will do anything to get ahead and won't support other people and blah, blah, blah. That narrative doesn't benefit regular people. That narrative benefits people at the top who want to remain in power through fear. But we've had many examples showing that that's not true. The most recent example being COVID-19. How many incredibly innovative programs were created to help people during COVID-19. There are so many just here in Toronto, so many grocery programs, so many help a neighbor programs, so many things for kids, so many things for teachers, so many things for the people in the healthcare workers, so many things for frontline workers. There are so many ways that regular people came together and helped each other because they wanted to. Okay, so it is not the majority of people that are going to be out for themselves and mean and heartless and ruthless. That's not what's going to be reality. Okay, but if you believe that way, then that's the way that you are going to act, because you're reacting to your own beliefs, and you're going to react in a defensive way. And if your beliefs are that you're going to be hurt, then you're going to defend yourself. So you're going to be in fighter mode against people who haven't even done anything to you. And who does that benefit? That benefits people that want you to be afraid and in fighter mode. Because if we're too busy fighting each other, then we're not focused on the people who are supposed to be protecting us, or these systems that we all engage with that are meant to protect us, and that we all pay to protect us, right? But these systems are falling apart, and we're disengaging more and more often. And the moment that things really start to switch around is when you stop engaging with your money. And that is, I don't know when that's coming. Because that'll be a real shift, and that'll be intense. But the moment that people stop giving these systems their money is when things really change. But in the meantime, it's small steps. And so be present of where you notice a shift. Be present and be aware of where you notice that people are disengaging, and follow that route and see how you feel about it. Do you agree, and do you also want to disengage? Do you not know how you feel? Oh shit. Damn. No! Fuck. Sorry. I just like... No, please, God. Get off my shit. Okay, sorry. I just had like all these ants crawling over all my shit, which the last time this happened, oh my God, the last time this happened was May 17th, the day that I recorded that video saying New World Order. We have a huge shift coming. And it wasn't, oh, it was evening. Okay, so it was evening. But still, I don't care. This is meaningful to me. This is meaningful to me, and that's another thing. What you choose to give meaning becomes meaningful. What do you want to give meaning? It's the same thing with these systems. The more and more people disengage, they're choosing to not give it meaning. And money only has a meaning to a certain extent. It only carries power to a certain extent, right? The celebrities that we enjoy and we follow and we blah, 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 yeah, it has meaning attached to it because of money, but it also has meaning because we have emotional attachment. A lot of people are becoming emotionally disengaged, with our systems, with our structures. And it's because we're being bullied into numbness through all of these horrible, traumatizing things that are happening, right? But they don't realize that that numbness isn't actually numbness. It's turning into anger and rage, and it's like a disassociation that is still a feeling, and it's going to turn into a desire for something new, for something else. And that is where they don't understand the power of the people. Because when you want something else so badly, you will begin to create it. That desperation will create something else. When you feel there's a lack, you fill it with something. And when you're desperate and you need hope, you'll fill it with hope, and hope will create new creativity and will create dreams. We're all heading into this dark tunnel, but it's not a bad darkness. It's going to be comforting, and we're going to be filling it with each other, and we're going to feel the sense of community, and it's going to come together to build a new reality for us all. Things are shifting in a big way. I mean, the shift, maybe it's, I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is a different shift altogether, or if this is a full step into this new era. But either way, it's very present. And if you look at the clouds will also tell you stories. The sky will tell you stories, but the clouds especially. And you might begin to be able to understand the universe and understand the closeness and be able to receive downloads from what's happening on soul levels from the sky. So look up at the sky, look up at the clouds, look up at the stars. You don't need to do it with like a wondrous gaze and like try to make meaning out of it. Just look up at it and think about, be open to what comes to mind. And if nothing comes to mind, that's okay. But if something does, don't negate that. Take that seriously. How am I going to get these ants out of my shoes? You know? These are like, this is the type of problem, you know, ants in my shoes, bugs on me, inconveniences that are scary. Like many of us are scared of bugs, but you're not really afraid of them. You just don't want it in your space because you have personal boundaries. Your boundaries are going to be tested, and your healing is going to tell you how you deal with them, right? I've stopped killing bugs. Like I really could never do it. But I would ask people to do it for me. But I've stopped doing it, and I've just moved into a space where I can just try and get rid of them, right? But I still have my boundaries. I'm not like one of those, you know, super naturey people that's like, oh, you know, all animals forever and I love them. But I am not interested in like fully killing them all. I'll just find ways to adapt to them being in a space with me to make it so that I still have my boundaries, but I also don't have to become something that I don't want to become, which is, you know, just killing all these bugs for no reason. Because I recognize that I'm on Earth and I'm in nature and bugs are around. But that doesn't mean I have to want to have them on my body, right? So there is something around your boundaries. And I was saying the other day that when it comes to power and when it comes to spiritual power, It's not a competition, okay? We all have the same access to this infinite source of knowledge and this infinite source of awareness and magic and power. So it's not a competition. We're not competing with the people who are dominating in our society and have the most money and the most control and power over us or whatever. We're not competing with them. We just need to become aware ourselves. As soon as we do that, we're good. Self-sufficiency, that's all you need. You don't need to compete and try and take theirs so that it can be yours. You don't need theirs. You have your own. You already have it. You just need to access your own. That's all you need. It's not a competition. You don't have to fight them. That's why it's like we don't have to go to war. We don't have to do all of these physical, violent things. You just need to tap into your own strength. You just need to be in your own energy and really be in your own power. And you'll realize that you don't need anything from these systems, and that they don't have any more access to anything than you. It's just simply about what you're aware of and what you're not aware of. And that consciousness is going to be given out across everything. That's why I'm probably seeing animals and their death showing up more present in my presence, in my spaces, in my paths. Death is a natural thing. Death is a thing that we all experience. Death is reality. Death is life. Everything, death happens all the time. But I don't see animals being dead a lot. So it's kind of a shock for me when I do. But it's not really like a shocker, and it's not really a bad thing. It's just life. And so, okay, get off because I need to go. So it's awareness. You're just seeing reality, right? And a squirrel being dead is just reality. Squirrels die. That happens, pigeons die. That happens. Those are what I've seen. And I saw a squirrel that was decayed. That happens. That's the death process. It's just coming aware of reality and not being afraid of it, and going towards it and asking it questions and realizing that it's just another aspect of life. It's just like you. And so you become less afraid of the parts of yourself that you see in that. And as you see that, you're able to dig deeper. The people in power are not afraid of death, and they're not afraid of darkness, and they're not afraid of these things. And that's why they are where they are, because they've dug deep. They've dug deep, but they've done it from a place of greed and from a place of selfishness and violence that muddies it. So everything is a spectrum, right? You can dig as deep as you want, but on what side of the spectrum are you digging? And so does that really benefit you in the long run? Probably not, because everything needs to be balanced. If you can dig from a balanced place and you can see all sides, then you can tap into your power in a way that works for you and also works for others, because you're in alignment with gratitude and with compassion and with caring for others, with healing energy, with community energy, with love energy. Love is always shared between something, between you and yourself, between you and your family, between you and friends, between you and your romantic partner, between you and the earth. Love is always shared between. Love is an exchange. Love is one of those things that's a community experience. Even self-love is a communal experience. It's something that's meant to be shared. A lot of these people in power that have access to these gifts and this awareness aren't coming from a place of love. And right now, what the earth wants is love. So if you're not working in alignment with the earth and what she needs, and in her healing as she goes through this death cycle and eventually this rebirth into something new in her transformation, you are going to be out of alignment with the life of earth. And imagine living on earth when you're not in alignment with her core. What are you doing? That is not great, yeah? Okay, last one, get off. So yeah, these ants, bro, there's a lot of them, but they're not dangerous and they're not bad. They're just in my space and I want them out. But they're not bad. Yeah, so also learning how to live with reality, right? And not punishing it for being reality, Don't punish reality for being what it is. It is what it is. If you don't like it, go somewhere new. You have what? Options. If anything, this new phase is going to show you just how powerful you are, how lacking in powerlessness that you are. And sometimes realizing how liberated you are can feel crippling. Realizing how liberated you are can actually make you feel like crap. And that's why there's certain people who exploit their oppressions, because they really want to live in that energy. Because they're like, no, there's no sense of power I have. And it's like, no, girl, you actually do have power, and you don't have to. That doesn't, this identity that you have doesn't have to be only based in oppression. It can also be something of joy and beauty. But they're like, no, it's only oppression. Or it's like the activists that exploit, their communities and want their communities to stay in struggle so they can continue to get paid. Those people are getting their karma too. We haven't forgotten about the Black Lives Matter women and men and people who stole everybody's money and profited off of the backs of people who had literally been shot and killed. Nobody forgot about that. We just are busy dealing with a lot of emotions, but that will be addressed, if not by us, by the universe. Girl, I ain't got time. So yeah. That bunny's gone, so it made it to the... Oh my God, the bunny's over there. Okay, do you want me to try and show you? But I feel like they'll leave. I'll try and show you, but if the bunny goes back into the bushes, we have to leave it alone because boundaries, right? I don't want to bother them, but I do want to show you that nature is out and about. I just love a good bunny rabbit. Let me throw this away. People are so disgusting. Like, why do you litter? I want you to know that I set the intention that anybody that litters, that Mother Earth deals with them. And I don't feel bad about it, because why are you littering? Anybody that intentionally litters. Oh my God, look. Can you see the bunny? Ooh. Wow, they're letting me get pretty close. I don't want to be too close. Stop. There they are. Bye, bunny. They're back. Okay. Anyways, there was a fly right in my nose. They really be all up in your space and they do not care. Stop. It's still in my face. There's going to be annoying things, And that might be how obvious spirit is showing up. One of those damn flies that come out during the summertime and are so annoying and all in your space. Spirit might be like that. It's just going to become undeniable that there is a presence in your energy. It's undeniable. What are you going to do about it is the question. The bunny came out here, but I don't want to bother it, so I'm just going to keep walking. But yeah, I'm glad I got to get that message out, because I think that there is a lot of really exciting things happening, you guys. I'm very excited for the future. Oh my God. Very, very excited for the future. And I know that it's also scary, and I know that, there's going to be really difficult moments, and I'll hold space for that, because I'm just naturally a very excited person, so I might sometimes speak about things and not seem like I care about the full spectrum of an experience that we're having. And that's not the case at all. I struggle to look sad, I realized. It's just not the way my face works, and even with my voice and my energy, sometimes I struggle to give off a serious presence, but it's not because I'm not taking something seriously. So when it comes to all of the challenges and all of the things that are going to take a lot of courage, and all of the losses and the grieving, all of that is just as valid and important to sit with and to hold space for. And the point is, Spirit continues to emphasize, take your time. There's no rushing through this. If you're struggling, that's okay. You're probably doing it right. If you're struggling and you're taking your time and you feel like you're out of control and blah, blah, that's okay. There's no right way to feel, none of us have been here before. We're all gonna feel the way we're feeling. If you feel okay, that's all right too. Every feeling is valid, because every feeling is an expression of the human experience in this state, because we're all human, right? So don't look for anybody else to validate what you're going through. It's okay, and Spirit will show up to validate you. It's everything you're experiencing, every step that you're taking is okay, as long as you are operating from your heart. Okay? And healing is whatever that looks like for you. And sometimes it takes a long time to work through something that maybe took somebody else a month or a week or a day. And nobody's wrong. Nobody's wrong in that. We are all on our different timelines, and it doesn't matter. Don't compare yourself. We're in a new space where there's no room for comparison. Because literally, while we are a collective, we are all extremely unique. And every single person that is on this planet right now is here to give their own individual, specialized gift to this earth to help with the healing and the rebirth process and the transformation of not only our planet, but of our universe. You are playing such an important role just by being yourself and working through your shit. That's your job. Be yourself, work through your shit. The sun is setting and it's really pretty. Yeah, so honestly, great energy overall. A lot of revelations. If you like to talk things through, like for me, my friend verified this today, but I realized that I'm somebody who needs to talk through what I'm feeling, and I need a lot of space to do that. Like, I'm not really someone who gets out my full range of emotions, or I'm not someone that feels like okay and release after just like 5 minutes. I need a good chunk of time, and I need to be with somebody that I feel safe with in order to really work through my stuff. And sometimes with certain things, I only really feel safe with myself. So my YouTube channel has been really therapeutic for me, because I've just been able to talk and work through things that are important to me, or on my mind, or on my heart, as well as also offer insight to other people, which has been really nice, because I feel like I'm contributing in some way, and I'm trying to give back also the gifts that I feel like I've been given, because this spirituality, this journey has been hard, but this awakening has also been such a gift for me. I'm so happy, and I'm so much happier than I've ever been in my life. And it doesn't mean that I'm not having bad days. I mean, I experience a full range of emotions every day. There are parts of today that I felt very sad, but in all, like as a collective feeling, I feel really good. So yeah, this journey has given me a gift, and I'm really happy about it. And I want to share that in ways that I can with you all. And the sky looks really pretty. I will say that one of the things about Mercury is that I thought was really interesting, I said this in another video, is that they don't have clouds in their sky. And Mercury is the planet of communication. And I was born with Cancer and Mercury. And I feel like Cancer and Mercury is like a cloudy sky. But it's a cloudy sky with some breaks to be able to see a clear sky or to be able to see the blue. And honestly, it's a vision that I prefer, especially at nighttime and even during the day, because clouds provide coverage and they provide an ability to be shielded, and they provide perspective. And clouds are also how you get time travel. But that's besides the point. The point is that clouds also make for beautiful sunsets. And so, you know, I think that if my energy would be a night sky, it would be like sunny but partly cloudy. Sunny and partly cloudy, because I love a good chunk of clouds. I also feel like clouds are some ways that you can see your ancestors, and yeah, because I think there's a lot of messages in the clouds, and I think that there's particularly a lot of messages in the clouds because clouds also hold water, and water also is a great way to connect with the past and connect with communication across dimensions, because water holds history and water holds the life of all. And so water is important, and water is a great spiritual resource as well if you want to tap into, I guess, consciousness in a way that maybe you're not able to easily access in other ways. Water is a great purifier, and clouds hold water in a particular way that offers a particular perspective. And I tend to get more insights at nighttime, and I guess in the evening too. I'm just thinking about clouds and what they do for me. Crazy enough, clouds actually bring me clarity, it seems. I really enjoy a cloudy sky just as much as I enjoy a clear night sky. When I want to see the stars, you know, then I really appreciate a clear night sky. Or when it's cold out and I want the sun, I appreciate a clear sky. But these days during summertime and when the sun is setting, I really appreciate the clouds because it brings in color, it brings in hue, it brings in dimension, it brings in perspective. And that is a gift. So there are gifts in everything. But yeah, I think that I've shared all I want to share today. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you, Mother Earth, for delivering these messages to us. Thank you, Spirit guides. Thank you, Collective, for listening. Thank you, people, and your family, your ancestors, which are probably just all of our ancestors. So, thank you, universe. What an incredible time it's been, yeah? And yeah, I think I'm gonna head off now. So, oh my God, look at all these ants. I don't see like herds of ants very often. I've seen it twice now. But it is nice to see nature out and about. So, yeah, go outside if you get a chance and try to enjoy the beautiful range of nature that exists. I've been seeing a lot of babies. Everybody's pregnant, like I said. I just two more celebrities and also pregnant. People around me are pregnant. I just see pregnant people, or I'm seeing a lot of babies, and even in nature, like baby birds. I've seen. I saw this picture of a swan and all her babies. Yeah, new life. Lots of new life, new beginnings, rebirth, birth, energy. And if you're thinking about it like that, you could also think about this time as very laborious. And even like, you know, for when we talk about pregnancy and labor, it's always around, labor. Oh my goodness, women are so strong, or people who give birth are so strong because they have to go through labor. But like, what about post-pregnancy? Postpartum is no joke. Postpartum is very hard. And maybe we're in postpartum energy. Or maybe that's what this energy is that I'm picking up on that's coming. And you know what? That would make a lot of sense, actually. Because postpartum, like, you're battling so many things at that point because there's a new baby. So there's new life and you're so happy if you wanted that baby. But you're also healing. Your body just gave birth and you're stressed and overworked and you're in this new experience and you're feeling a lot of insecurities. And there's a lot of unknowns and there's so many questions and you just have to figure it out. Postpartum energy is very difficult to navigate and there's not a lot of support systems. I mean, I've seen it coming up more and more, like postpartum doulas and death doulas as well, in addition to birth doulas and things like that, and pregnancy doulas. But yeah, there's a lot of more and discussions about postpartum depression and things like that. That's been happening in the few recent years. But we still have a long ways to go in terms of talking about postpartum. And oh my God, this morning I had a conversation with myself in the bathroom, the same place that I was getting this message from Spirit around the spiritual becoming very physical. I was talking to myself about, because I was imagining my life with my soulmate and what it would be like in the future. And I was thinking about, the struggle to allow him, if it's a man or whoever, allow them to help take care of the baby when I have them first, because my instincts will make me very protective and just not confident in anyone else but me, even though I'm not even confident in myself. And it made me think of the lionesses, because I've recently seen, for a while, not recently anymore, but a few weeks ago, I was getting a lot of lion videos on my page, on my YouTube page, and they were videos about lionesses taking care of their babies and how they usually leave their pride and go raise their babies on their own for the first few months, I think, or weeks, I don't know, and don't trust even the lion father to come, and are very protective. And it made me think about how hard it must be for mothers when you first give birth, and even probably the first few months, to trust anyone with your child. And so of course you want help, and of course you want to ask for help, or sometimes you don't want to ask for help because you feel, right now we're in a society that's very two-parent household, so there's not a lot of help to raise a child, even though it really does take a village. And you see that through the school system. If it didn't take a village to raise a child, the school system would not exist as it does. But it does take a village. That's why you have teachers and other students and other staff that are raising your kids, Other kids are raising your kid. We're all raising each other in the school system. If you go to public school or private school or something. I don't know about homeschooled. But yeah, but either way, I was saying, your instincts probably make it very hard to accept help. And so even if you have a really supportive partner that does try and help, you're probably still awake, when you said you were going to go to sleep. You're probably still checking in and thinking about things and asking them questions and just making sure. And there's always this critique of I'm sure the fathers feel really insignificant, and why don't you believe that the father, and if you didn't believe that the father, so why do you even want help? Do you understand how difficult it is to fight against your nature? This is just nature. That's just your guts kicking in. Of course you're going to ask questions. Of course you're protective. Of course you're concerned. You just push this thing out of your body, or you just had them come out. You just got cut open. So this thing who you've been growing for 8-9 months, however long, out of your body, and now everybody's like, oh well, blah, 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 accept the help, blah, blah, blah. Like, what the fuck? Of course you're scared. And if you're not, that's okay too. We all have different ranges of experiences, but there should be no shame for any way that each mother or person who gives birth and has their baby and is taking care of their baby, there should be no shame for how they express themselves and how they experience that experience. There is no right way. There's only a range of experiences, and all of it just is what it is. And we need to hold a lot of space. We don't hold enough space for mothers. Even the space that we think we're holding, we're not. We actually give a lot of space for fathers. A lot, considering the lack of work that they do. It's like actually insane how much space we give for them. Because the ones who do show up are literally treated like God versus everyone else who's just a mother and that's just your duty. Like, what the fuck? So please, miss me with that bullshit. Miss me with it. But, yeah. I don't know where that came from. It just showed up. But yeah, I feel like by now I should be done. I had another thought come to mind, but I forgot about it. Oh, that was the thing. This morning, last night and this morning, I had 3 different dreams, but I only remembered 2 of them. And some of the dreams, 2 out of 3 of the dreams were about forgetting something. So be like watchful, study, or like make sure you remember your lines, make sure you remember your purpose, make sure you remember your path. Don't forget once you step into the limelight, don't forget what you've learned. Once you step into this new timeline and really begin to move, don't forget what you've been taught. Don't forget. And do the work now, heal, learn, so that once you get into this new space, you know what you're doing, you know? Just don't throw yourself off the edge with no cushion. It's the spiritual insurance coming up again. Make sure you have protection. It was like I had this dream that I was singing like the opening lines in this song in front of like my whole class. It was like, felt like I was like in elementary school, and everybody else was like good and knew their lines, and there's this one guy who really knew his lines and my lines, but I didn't know my lines. I didn't even know what I was doing. It was such a mess. I was such a mess, and I knew I was a mess, and I didn't even know my lines like as I went up to sing, and I didn't remember. And once I did start singing, my voice was horrible. It was horrible. And it wasn't like a bad dream, like it wasn't a nightmare, because in the end it ended up being fine. So I think all of this is just spirit, like, you know, like how do you want to start out? Oh my God. When I was first started talking about death energy on my channel, I spoke a lot about like, you know, death is inevitable, death happens anyways, and it's a full spectrum of an experience. So there's no way that your death can be, it's the death energy that we're going to go through on Earth, the apocalypse energy that we're going through on Earth, it's not going to be all bad. There's no way for it to just be all bad, whole way through, complete shit. Like that's just, it's not going to be like that. But how do you want to start out? Because the way that you die influences what your life in the death space will be like, right? So like basically we've all been dying, right? As we've been healing, and death is healing. And I said that in another video, and I said, what is Earth doing right now? Right now, she's dying. She's pushing out healing energy so that she can heal. So like, how do you want to die? Do you want to die as you're in a healing way, in an energy where you are being present, where you are being constructive, where you are paying attention, where you're holding space? Like, what energy do you want to have before your death? through the dying process that informs your death, right? Because that energy informs the foundation for what your death state will be like. You understand what I mean? It's the same way how during pregnancy, the environment that your mother is in, that your parent is in, both parents, what they eat, all of these things inform your foundation. Their ancestry and their life before you informs your foundation. So what foundation do you want to have for your life, for this new life, for this new timeline? What do you want it to be like? How do you want to start out? Because regardless of how somebody's pregnancy goes, their child can have an abundance of different options for their future. They have options. But it'd be nice to give them a running start with a great, healthy experience. If it's within your control, it'd be nice to not smoke during your pregnancy. It'd be nice to not drink during your pregnancy. Things like that. It'd be nice to not get into like fights and things like that. Things that lower, like less stress around your pregnancy. So how do you want your energy to be around your dying so that you can have a good death? You know what I mean? Like, it's the same way as like with an orgasm. Foreplay informs your orgasm, right? Like how you get to that peak is a huge part of what the peak feels like. The tension, the softness, so the awareness, the setting, the touch, all of these things inform it. And none of those things have to be pure sex, It's just a range of experiences that add on to create something that is more enjoyable and something that is more abundant. There are you can have an orgasm through many ways. You can reach that peak in many different ways, but the peak will feel differently based on the foundation, right? So what is your foundation? Spirit is asking you that. What's your foundation? What foundation have you established? Some of you have already established the foundation, and now you're going into this new era, this death state. Some of you are now dying, right? It depends on, we're all in different states. We're all in different steps. Either way, you're getting to where you're getting, and it's good. But just, have that awareness. And so if you did do that work, don't forget about it. And be mindful of how that carries into where you are now. So, that's it.